welcome to The Zest, the official podcast of Orange Coast Magazine. I'm Chelsea Ranieri, and today's guest is the Vice President of Programming and Production at Segerstrom Center for the Arts. She oversees all center performances, from main stage productions to outdoor programming at the Argyros Plaza, as well as education, public programs, and community engagement. She's known for her bold, interdisciplinary approach to curation, seamlessly blending contemporary performance, site-specific works, and unexpected collaborations. Before joining Segerstrom Center, she held high-profile roles at some of the nation's most iconic cultural institutions, including the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Whitney Museum of American Art, Brooklyn Academy of Music, and New York Public Radio. Please enjoy this conversation with Limor Tomer. I have to tell you, I am such a huge fan of Segerstrom. My family and I go every year to the Nutcracker. I've been to see Lion King, Mean Girls. I'm going to see The Notebook in a couple weeks.
Amazing.
So I am a huge fan. And every time I leave, I just feel so inspired and excited. And I just can never wait to go back.
Yeah, that's true. It's an amazing place. And I've just been so... I feel really, really lucky and thrilled to be able to be here. Seriously.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, where did you grow up and how did the arts kind of first show up in your life?
I grew up in a very small town outside of Tel Aviv in Israel. And the arts was not really showing up in our lives so much, except that, when I was growing up, it was the norm to have a subscription to the local symphony. People just did that. And so I went to a lot of concerts as a young person and I took piano lessons, but it wasn't something that was, none of my relatives are in music. So, but then fast forward, my music kind of took off and became a bigger part of my life. And when my family emigrated to New York, to the US, and we settled in New York, that's when the music really became central to my life. And I went to Juilliard and, all that. So that's what happened.
Wow. So how old were you when you moved?
I was 13.
Oh, young. And then you were playing piano? Is that amazing? Is that what you got into Juilliard for?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So I read that you were pursuing advanced degrees, which sounds really intense, especially at Juilliard. So can you talk a bit about what you studied and how it shaped you both personally and professionally?
Sure. So Juilliard, I have a undergraduate and a master's degree from, and that was an amazing place to grow up. It was where I found my people, and it was very, very special. But at that time, it's very, very different now. But at that time, there was almost 100% focus on your music studies. And after I graduated with my master's, I felt a little undereducated.
Really?
Yeah. So I thought, you know what? I really should, invest in my general knowledge. Mm. And so I enrolled in NYU's PhD program in aesthetics, and I was doing music and aesthetics. And so a lot of philosophy, read a lot of books. And that was, I think that really helped me as I transitioned from being a working pianist to being in arts administration, because I had a pretty broad knowledge of just, culture in general. And so that was that path. I never finished my PhD. Because I got a job of a lifetime, and I just thought, I wasn't that interested in teaching per se. Mm-hmm. I was more interested in getting an education, and I felt like I was on my way to that. And then I obviously continued to seek out, to read a lot and everything like that. So I went to work at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, BAM, which it made its mark as a place that presents new work. So you go to BAM for what you don't already know. You don't go to BAM to see what you've seen before.
Yeah, can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. So BAM is a place that more or less focuses on, they focus on dance, theater, music, opera, and related forms, and they have multiple theaters. But their focus is on contemporary work. And even when they do, 18th century opera, French opera, it always has a contemporary expression. So, the production is contemporary or something new about it. Mm-hmm. So it's really about new work. And so that has always been, it helped me to cultivate curiosity and openness to new choreography and new composition and new theater and recently written and living artists. To balance out my very, very, classical training.
Right. How interesting. I'm so bummed because I went to New York and I didn't know about this place until I started researching you. And I was like, dang it. Now I'm sad I missed that.
Yeah, you'll go to New York. It'll be there. It's like a river. You can always visit it.
Yeah, exactly. So what first kind of got you interested in curating and producing performances and programming?
Really, I just, I wanted to contribute to moving the artistry forward, moving the audience, creating an appetite for audiences. It's very much what Judy Moore, my predecessor, did here. She created an appetite and a sophistication around dance. That was her passion, her métier. And so, she really built this, the audience here for ballet. And, I am just super honored to be able to take that to the next step and continue that legacy.
Wow. And so to go back a bit in your career, so you went on to help establish performance departments at both the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Whitney. So when you look back, what did those formative years teach you about leadership and vision?
It taught me that vision is the main thing. A focused, clear vision that you can articulate, that you can stand behind, that is true to that aligns with the values of the community where you sit. So vision is the most important thing, and everything follows from there. Funding, artists, everything follows from a clear, well-articulated vision. I learned that. I also learned that it's very important to slow down, which is a lesson that's super hard for me.
Yeah, same. I totally agree with that.
The slower you go, the faster it gets. It is.
Speaking of going slower, you are presenting more than 90 performance projects annually at the Met, which is no small feat. So how did you learn to balance that artistic ambition with the realities of producing that much?
Well, I think that a big part of that is that I had an amazing team. So, I had a producing team, I had a marketing team, I had a PR team, and together we did it. I didn't do it by myself. We did it as a team. 90
is almost 2 a week, right?
Something like that. Jeez. I don't know. I can't do math, but it was a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Do you have any favorite memories from that time?
Oh my gosh, so many. But one particular memory that I have that is very, very dear to me is an opera that I commissioned, site specific for the Met Cloisters. The Cloisters is the Met's medieval museum.
Oh,
and so and the piece is called Primero Sueño, and it's based on the life and work of the 17th century Spanish Mexican nun named Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, and she's on the 10 peso bill in Mexico. She's a very, very important, significant person. Mm-hmm. She was considered the first feminist of the New World. She was an author, a composer, a writer. She wrote a book called Primero Sueño, and so I assembled an incredible team: composers, Mago Herrera and Paola Prestini, were the co-composers, and the director is Luisa Proska, and the choreographer. And it was a big creative team, and they created this piece, and the audience followed the performers through this medieval museum. And it was absolutely stunning. And then the piece traveled to Mexico, to the cloisters where Sor Juana actually lived and worked. And then I got to see it in Mexico City.
Wow.
And I just think that's one of the most beautiful pieces I've ever seen. And then, and one of my great dreams for Orange County is to bring it here.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. I just got chills. That sounds amazing. I was like, I'll never see this.
Yeah. It's just so beautiful.
Oh, I hope so. That you get to bring that here. Well, your work has spanned museums, public radio, and performing arts institutions. So how has moving across these disciplines shaped the way that you think about storytelling and audience engagement?
I don't think it's all the same thing. It's what you just said. It's storytelling. So radio, media, broadcasting just helps you tell the story. And my story is always the same story. It's like, let me tell you about something you don't already know.
Yeah.
That's it. You're going to go see this thing, and it's going to become completely essential to your life. And you didn't even know it existed, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's the story.
Oh, I love that. Well, you've been described as having strong East Coast energy, which I love. And your current role marks the first time that you've led on the West Coast. So what drew you to Orange County and to Segerstrom, which I know we touched on a little bit, but.
I don't really know what strong East Coast energy
I don't either, but I read an article that said that, and I was like, okay, love that.
Yeah. What drew me here is a desire to be in a different kind of community, where I can contribute in a different kind of way. The Segerstrom Center is one of the premier cultural organizations of the world. I remember learning about it when it was the Orange County Center for Performing Arts. And I didn't know much about it, but, coming here and seeing this extraordinary place, and then meeting the team that's running it, and the ambition and the dedication of the people that we serve. It was really, I just wanted to run away with this circus.
Yeah. I completely feel that. Every time I bring someone who hasn't been to Segerstrom before, I just get so excited for to see the reaction when they walk in and they get to experience it. It's just being in there, the environment itself is so exciting and so fun. And also really cozy. You feel comfortable there.
Yes. There's this, what I call it, the Segerstrom hug. Yeah. You walk in from the parking attendant to the security personnel, to the ushers, to the staff. It's just, everyone is just thrilled to be with you. And they carry this mantle of, we are sharing a sacred moment. Performance is sacred, and it only lives if it's shared. That's the big difference between museum and performance, which is museum, the artist works in their studio, they make the work, there's no audience there. And if it's seen or not seen, the work is made. Mm-hmm. The work is not made in real time with a real audience, but performance is a pact. It's a relationship. It can't exist and can't be made without an audience.
Right.
So we're all in it together. And that's what I feel when I walk into one of the theaters here. This kind of, and the staff carries that. You can feel it.
Totally. I know, there's even that moment where you're trying to get a snack or something right before, and the bells start ringing, and they're still, no one's stressing you out about it. They're just very calmly, very kindly being just so you know, you have a few minutes to get back to your seat. And it's always just, it's never stressful. It's always just, I don't know, just good feelings. And like you were saying, you're all in it together. You feel like you've shared this incredible experience with the audience too. Everyone just leaves feeling so happy.
Yeah. No one is taking this for granted.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Well, you stepped into Segerstrom, as you mentioned, during a pivotal transition following a longtime artistic leader. So how did you approach honoring the past while setting the tone for a new era?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Fun fact. Mm-hmm. when I joined the Met, I took over from the first and only artistic leader of it was called the Concerts and Lectures Department, who had been there for over 40 years.
Wow.
So this is my second time taking over from the first and only artistic leader of an organization or a season. And so, it's in a way, it's really, really important always to honor the work that's been done. And I feel so connected to that work. I mean, dance was Judy's main passion, and it is mine as well. And so for me to step into that is very natural. Dance, music. And then where I think we have an opportunity to sort of emulate the way that Judy built an appetite and an audience is if we're looking at Orange County, we see that the audience, the demographics are, I think 40% Hispanic. And I feel like that is an audience and a culture that it could be better represented on our stages. And so, for example, next year, because I always lead with the artists, because they do have the best ideas. Next year, we are going to announce our first ever in the history of the center artist in residence.
Oh. So what does that mean?
26-27 year, the 26-27 season.
Okay.
So it is this year because it's 2026.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's crazy. Yeah. It flew by.
So in the season of 2026-27, our artist in residence, which was recently announced, will be Arturo O'Farrell. And he is a very interesting artist, and the choice of Arturo is very specific. He's an 8-time Grammy winning musician, and a composer, a pianist, an educator. And he works with dance companies. He's written scores for choreographers. He's worked with theater. He's worked in all of the areas that we touch. Mm-hmm. Maybe even most importantly, the work that he does in education and with young people, both young people who are professionally on a professional track or pre-professional musicians, and also just young people in general. And so he will be completely kind of knitted into everything we do. From the work we do on the stages, he'll be performing with his Afro-Latin jazz orchestra in the concert hall. He will be outside on the plaza with a new piece that we're commissioning for him, from him. He will be involved with our young people bussin' concerts. He will be visiting artists with our Studio D dance for all abilities school. He will be completely in everything that we do. And so, and he'll be making a bunch of new works for us during the year. And so I'm very excited about that. You know, he will give a master class. He will do a community event. He'll do a wellness event outdoors. So, and he's equally excited about engaging with our community as he is about bringing his orchestra to play in the concert hall. It's all one thing to him too. Like it's all the same story, connecting people through music, through art, through collaboration, through speaking, through improvisation.
My ears perked up when you said the jazz. I at the concert hall too, which is so beautiful. When does this all start?
So our season will kick off with Arturo's concert on September 19.
Got it. Write it down.
Yeah. And then following that, he will also perform, we're commissioning a new version of a very important record that came out in the 1980s called Rumba para Monk. It's Thelonious Monk's music, and Monk's connection to Latin rhythms. And so he will recreate or reinterpret that album, this seminal album, and that will be performed in the Samueli Theater. And then we're going to recreate a night at one of the great mambo clubs in LA or New York or Havana. We don't quite have the right name for it, but it'll be sort of like the Copacabana revisited, with dancing and boa, and feathers and everything, all of it.
God, so cool.
Lots of horns.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Is that this year or next year?
That will be in February of 2027.
Okay, cool. Ooh, that sounds so fun. I can't wait to see what that's going to be. Well, your curatorial approach, which I mentioned this in the intro, is known for blending contemporary performance, site-specific work, and unexpected collaborations. Which you touched on all of those, but what excites you the most about pushing boundaries here in Orange County?
I think it's about curiosity and, and humility. So, I'm interested in, seeing who wants to go on this ride with us. Right. And, how do we engage people with, introducing them to artists they haven't maybe heard of, or types of performance that they're not that familiar with, and, being in it together and building an audience and expertise and a love for the form.
Yeah, this all sounds so incredible. And I know that you guys are going to attract so many more people who haven't experienced these things yet. And it's just going to be amazing. But your career includes prestigious awards and fellowships, and also a lot of behind the scenes building. So what part of your work brings you the most fulfillment today?
I think the two pieces that I love the most is working with artists and working with my colleagues here at the center. Mm-hmm. I haven't met a group of people who are this committed and also who just lead with joy. I mean, we laugh,
yeah,
a lot. And it's just fabulous, to have, cause, I give it everything. I know that I've heard the concept of work-life balance and I honor it. But also for me, I love my work so much, and my work is to see performances and be with artists. And so for me, it's a little bit different. And I still think that it's, self-care is important. Mm-hmm. Replenishing is important. All of that is very important. And I am not diminishing that, but being able to go to work and have a blast and laugh and be with people that I absolutely adore, that's huge. And then again, working with the artists is super fun, making new pieces, just sharing their genius with the audience.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I love hearing that you completely just fell in love with your job here, your career here. That makes me so happy to hear. Okay, so I love this. I read that your personal motto is inspired by, hopefully I'm saying this correctly, Merce Cunningham. And it's the only way to do it is to do it. So how has that philosophy guided you through moments of uncertainty or risk? I tend to overthink. Same.
And so, in overthinking, being deliberate is one thing and thinking things through is one thing, but overthinking is not my friend. Mm-hmm. And so ultimately the only way to do it, or the only way to know whether something's legitimate or will work, or is to do it. And it's like, it's a little bit like the opposite of fear, Mm-hmm. Fear is not our friend. Being deliberate and thoughtful is definitely our friend. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you just got to do it. Otherwise you won't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's taking that leap of faith. Well, is there any other exciting performances or anything that you would like to shout out for listeners to keep an eye out for in 2026, 2027?
Yeah, of course. We have a huge, important moment in the history of the center, which is the 40th anniversary.
Oh my gosh.
In September of 2026 is the 40th anniversary of Segerstrom Hall and the 20th anniversary of the concert hall.
No way. That's so exciting.
Yes, we're super excited. So we're going to be celebrating those anniversaries all year long.
Yeah.
But we also have a particular day in which we will really just have a big birthday party. And that's September 13th. And we'll have a big open house and there'll be tons of performances and we'll be all kind of, family forward. And, we don't have all the details of all the activities, but we're really thinking in terms of just convening everyone from Orange County to come and share and be with us. The whole community is coming together. We'll throw the doors open. We'll do tours of all the spaces. I would like to see, lots of drop-in classes so you can observe a Studio D class or a ABT Gillespie school class or take a class, or art making is super important. We're definitely going to have health and wellness activations because we're really looking at the intersection of art and wellness right now, and so we want to include that in everything we do, and especially in this anniversary celebration. So expect tons of fun on in the center, on the plaza, in the buildings on September 13th, 2026.
Amazing. Will that be a ticketed event online that you can buy tickets for? No? Oh, it just opened.
Yeah.
Oh,
big community celebration.
Oh, okay. And when you said tours of all the spaces, are you talking maybe like backstage too?
We haven't worked out all the details yet. We're working on that, but we'll see.
Tour request for the backstage tour.
No, I mean, backstage tours, back of house, spaces. They're so magical.
Yeah. We actually, last year for the Nutcracker, we got to sit like pretty much the row like that is right by the orchestra. And when you peek in, you're like, oh my, it's so much space down there. You can't really picture it until you see it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. The Pacific Symphony. Yeah. Shout out to the Pacific Symphony.
Amazing.
They're so awesome. Yeah. And they have a new artistic director, conductor. And I went to see the concert last Sunday, and I swear to God, there was like a fifth gear going on there. They're just like, he just pushed it into overdrive. And I was just like, okay, people, get ready.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. We are coming to the end of our time. But before I let you go, I have 3 final questions for you that we call the Thoughtful 3. So first, what impact do you hope your work in the arts leaves on the Orange County community?
I hope to ignite a curiosity and a love of art forms that maybe people are not that familiar with yet.
Yes, I love that. And then how do you stay inspired and keep your creative spark alive when you hit moments of burnout or self-doubt?
I think travel helps.
Yeah.
Just going somewhere else and getting a different perspective on how other people live and different kind of food, breathing different kind of air. That always helps me get re-energized. I
totally relate to that. I went to Japan earlier this year, and that completely did that for me. It's such a different perspective. I loved it. Well, lastly, what moments in your career have had the most significant impact on who you are today? And I'm sure there's a lot, but.
I think moments when you realize that a work of a performance connected with an audience in a non a cerebral way, but in kind of a heart way. And sometimes you see that and people just like spontaneously start crying, and not because they're sad, but because they're moved. And I've been in the room when that's happened several times, and that just makes it all worth it.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even imagine getting to experience that. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This was such a pleasure. I'm so excited I got to finally meet you and see the person behind all of my favorite things about Segerstrom. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much, Elsie. I really appreciate it.